Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the mashup. Welcome to the welcome to the mashup.
Welcome to the Mashup.
This is kind of just an all-encompassing thing, but I am sick and tired of people on the left just intentionally misrepresenting things in an effort to obfuscate the conversations. And we get into it every week, and we cover it from all sorts of different angles. But just the fact that they're completely unwilling to have honest conversations about any of this is driving me nuts. And we need to start calling it out as the root cause, as the big rant at the start of the show. You're not being honest about what you actually think or see or believe, and let's build from there.
You already all know this. Tooz is an asshole. I welcome back, Sean. Stick on 700 links and give me 22 minutes. 0.2 to get through it all and try and do that. I assume this is like Sean's back today after he ignored me, and I'm going to make his life hell on a Friday. Welcome back, everybody. Mashup 190. Welcome back to me.
You don't think I didn't have a big week leading up to this?
I have no idea what you were doing on your side. As I just watched this document, I'm like, what is happening right now? Is this real? Is this real? Okay. Holy Mac. And yes, Kevin, Tooz is this brilliant guy who can't figure out how to turn on a song. I listened to that too, and I'm like, Tooz, how long have we been doing this for? You don't know how to turn on the song? That's hilarious.
You're the guy who pushes the button.
That's hilarious. Okay?
You're the guy who pushes
out everything. He's so smart. Can't go down on the side and figure out how to turn on a song. I'm back. Welcome back. Mashup 190. I'm happy to be here. We got a lot going on this show, so let's how about just before we invite in our first guest, let's do a couple things here. We have if you're enjoying the show, make sure you like, share, push it out there, folks, and get us out to a bigger audience. Appreciate it. And I should have had this pulled up. I'm going to apologize to Jamie right now because I'm like, here, okay, happy Airborne Friday, but Jamie wanted me to put this out. They lost one of their brethren. And it's George Nelson Parrott, a man whose love, kindness, and generosity touched us all. And so at some point, I can have Jamie explain that a little bit more. But happy Airborne Friday. They lost one of theirs. And a shout out to the George Nelson Parrott family and to all the airborne men and women out there. Should we get Mitch in right now?
Yeah,
I assume yes.
He's a busy man lately.
He's a busy man, yes. Okay. Well,
time is money, Sean.
Okay. Mitch, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Mitch.
Hey, guys. How are you?
It's a Friday, and I feel like I'm probably staring at the email sign up right after the election. That's what Tooz did me this morning. It was just you can't even keep up to it. So I don't know what that was like in your world after Carney was elected, but I've heard the numbers, of how many people were signed up for the APP. I assume you can relate to what I was seeing this morning on our little shared document that shows all the links we're going to talk about. And I'm like, what is Tooz doing to me? Yes, that's how my day's going, Mitch. So,
well, you want to be in my spot. We got the message that our question had been approved, and then Christmas happened the very day. And Elections Alberta shut down for 10 days. And so our people didn't shut down for 10 days, though. Our people were getting ramped up and excited. And thankfully they are, and that's awesome. However, we're waiting on Elections Alberta to allow us to collect signatures, and our canvassers are being approved as we speak. We did an event last night in Bicycle. We had 700 people there and collected 500 signatures. We had 12 canvassers signing people up. And that was we have 20 canvassers total out of 2,200 or 2,400 that we've asked for approval on. So as soon as our canvassers get approved, and Elections Alberta has been moving fast once they get there. So we're going to be flat out running, probably by early to mid next week. where we'll have everybody up and running and all everything firing on every cylinder.
How many people live in Bicycle?
You know what? I don't know, but I'm going to share something with you. For guys that have been doing events like we have for the last 2 or 3 years, when you have people lined up around the block outside, waiting to come in to sign, it's kind of a really fun thing from us, for our perspective. And it's not only been last night in Bicycle, like 3 nights in a row. We had big crowds. And I was just doing one of the events. The other events were also seeing the same thing. We turned people away in Lacombe the other night. There was just no room. And we were in Water Valley.
Water Valley. That's where I saw
How
you.
many people in that town? 80 people, 90 people, 100 people? And we had 350 people in the hall.
Mhm.
That's, it's just
349, I think, was the official count.
all right. And plus me. So
Gotta
we'll go
keep things
350.
very factual here, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, but plus me, so that's 350.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
All
fair.
right.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I mean, do you plan on signing the petition, Mitch?
I have actually.
Yep.
Yeah, got a picture of that. Actually, Jeff was got the honor of doing the first signature on the petition to free Alberta from Canada.
Okay, so for perspective, Bicycle has a population of 754 people,
Yes,
and 700 people showed up.
yes.
I assume 54 people were working.
Yeah, there's probably 4 of them that couldn't make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just saying. I mean, it's incredible. And,
Mitch-
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna like the questions and emails, texts that I've been getting.
Yeah, go
People
ahead. Ask me.
people are trying to find more information, where they can go to find it. Where would you direct them? And then, you mentioned a whole bunch of things there, right? Like people are antsy to go sign, and they're like,
Yes, of
where can I
course.
sign? Like, how can I hear it's open. Where can I go sign? Can we just talk through where people can find the best information to stay up to date, especially on, the timeline of just like everybody just pump the brakes. Things are going to be okay. There's some things you got to get through, and once that's through, then there'll be plenty of different places to sign. Maybe you could just walk people through where to go for that information, and maybe just a bit more on the timeline.
Okay, so stayfreealberta.com is where you go to get your information. So that's a brand new website that we had to set up. It's a week old. We have to set it up for this actual campaign, for this petition collection campaign. So what we're doing is we've got many people working all manner of hours behind the scenes, getting canvassers to Elections Alberta so we can get them approved. Understand, we cannot put sheets out there without a canvasser behind it to approve the signature. So for every signature that we're going to get, we have to have a canvasser there to collect it and make sure and verify it so that we can submit it to Elections Alberta as an official signature. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that process is correct, because they'll turn us back. And we want our list to be very, very,
Robust.
and robust and no mistakes, because Mr. McCasick lost 50,000 signatures out of his petition. So we would like to lose none. Actually, to tell you the honest to God truth, we would like to lose none. So what we're doing is we've got our badges, and we have canvassers set up in every region in Alberta. Alberta's broken up into 87 constituency associations. So that is the same place as where you vote. So that is, the area that your MLA represents is what the constituency association is. So we're set up in 87 CAs. And in 87 CAs, we have leaders, regional leaders and provincial leaders that manage that area. Those people are all working full time to try and get you polling places where you can sign, downtown, businesses that are going to take your signatures. We're going to be coming to your community no matter where it is with a town hall very soon, and possibly a follow-up to another one. Right after that, we're going to be going to every community in Alberta. You know what? And then after that, we're going to start knocking on doors if it's required. We're just in day 4 of the actual process. Understand what happened is Elections Alberta went on holidays the day that they gave us the answer that we were approved to go. So they didn't get back till the day before New Year's, and then they closed down for the weekend. So they
cut you off by a week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they absolutely did cut us off by a week. And we were supposed to, originally when we had all this, the thought that we may get this approved, we were supposed to have 30 days to get that done, and we're not complaining. We'll we'll take that, to get this approved. I mean, that's massive. I'm actually living in a world of, I can hardly believe that where we're at. I mean, we've done a lot of work. I'm not saying we don't deserve it, but just understand how exciting the prospect of creating a new nation is going to be based on what we're seeing down east and everywhere in the world, where we'll actually possibly have some control over what's going on. As
How
compared to
cool-
right now.
How cool would it be for people in Alberta to cast a vote in an election and actually have it matter?
Yes, and understand this: we're not voting in areas; we're voting province-wide. So your vote counts just as much in rural Alberta as it does in urban Alberta, because it's not going to matter. In an election, you just need enough votes to get your MLA in. Here, we're voting against everybody in the province. So every rural vote is going to count. So, so just saying, people have to understand that this is a total. So every vote counts. We need every vote. We're going to go out there and try and get every vote. As a matter of fact, we'll do our best to do that. So to summarize that, we're going to have locations on our stayfreealberta.com website posted there. We're going to have permanent locations posted there, so you can go sign during the week, just about anywhere you are. And then after that, we're going to come to your town and talk to you. And if you need help to get us to sign you, just let us know, and we'll come to your house. Basically, that's the way this is going to work. Is that fairly clear, Sean? Or you got that?
Yeah, I think so. I just I was steering people everywhere, and having you on, I think it just clarifies things, right? I think the one other thing that people were curious about is how long do you have to collect the signatures? So that, I mean, I think if people want to sign, they're reaching out because they want to sign now. They're not going to wait till day 120. But what is the final date to sign this thing?
May 2nd.
May 2nd. Ooh, that's a good day. You know what happens on May 2nd, Tuesday?
Tell me.
I turned 40, boys. I turned 40. 40 this
I thought
year.
your birthday was in November.
Nope. Two's wrong once again, folks. Not even close. Any other things, Mitch, that you want people to understand about what is going on with the petition? I mean, I think stayfreealberta.com is pretty self-explanatory. But if there's anything else you want to say to Albertans on this, floor is yours. Have at her.
Okay, so here's the thing. We need every single person to sign up, every person that they know that agrees with this. So that means as many of you as can become canvassers. That's going to be the determining factor on how
That's
big
the choke point.
Yes. So the choke point is if you have a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, friend, child that needs to sign this petition, take it as your responsibility to get them to do it, and then turn it into us. Because what I think we need to understand here is this is the real definition of a grassroots movement. This is the people doing this. And in order for that to really work, we need the people to actually do the work. And we learned this when I was doing pension town halls for Alberta Pension. We gave people sheets with 10 names on them. And then pretty soon they all started to come in the mail. It took us months to enter those sheets. Because when people get it, people understand that if they become a canvasser, you don't have to go knocking on doors. You just have to talk to the people you know. And if everybody does that, we're going to get everybody. And that's the plan. It's very simple plan. I think it's very executable plan. And you all have regional, provincial leaders in your area, and we're going to make sure that you know where they are based on what the information we're going to have on our site, so that you can contact these people or join as a canvasser on Stay Free Alberta. And if you join as a canvasser, then we will be in touch with you. We will put you in touch with all those people. There's no cost to it, but you just have to wait a couple of days, and you'll get a badge in the mail from Elections Alberta saying that you're an official canvasser, and then you can go out and get signatures. In order to get a signature, the person has to be 18 years old, be a Canadian, live in Alberta, basically that's, and put home physical address on, not mailbox. You can put mailbox in addition, but physical address has to be there. And then after that, away you go. That's
Do we need
no harder than that.
Does the canvasser need to verify your physical address for the signature?
Well, they need your physical address. Driver's license is great. A bill A bill, an utility bill works really good. Anything like that you have passports, excellent.
But I guess what I'm asking here is if I show up, so for me, for example, small town, rural,
Mm-hmm.
my driver's license has my PO box number on it.
Right.
Do I need to show up with a utility, or can I just verbally give my physical address?
You need to show up with proof.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to show up with proof. Absolutely. You need a utility bill. Box number does not work.
Okay.
All right.
One of the things, Mitch, for yourself, me and Tuesday talked. We're hoping, over the next until May 2nd, every Friday we can have, whether it's yourself or maybe a few different people within the petition drive, canvassers, etc. We're hoping every week to have a little segment for the first 15 minutes of the show just to update people on questions, because I assume what's going to happen in the next week is things are going to start to roll, and then there's going to be 1,000 questions, and we'd love to have
I would love
people
to come on every week. Can I come on every week?
Well, I don't see. I mean,
it doesn't necessarily have to be you. We'd be more than happy. But we're just saying that
if I'm somewhere doing something, but it can be me. So just let me know. If not, I'll put you in touch with somebody that will do it. No, guaranteed. We'd be happy to do your show.
Well, the thing about it is you can speak right to Albertans, right? And we're the only thing out there, but if people are having questions, they can start to file them into the comments too, right? If they're seeing issues in their areas, and it'd be nice to have somebody just to address it, right from the horse's mouth.
Okay, so there's a separation between the two groups. Understand this. Stay Free Alberta is its own deal now. Mm-hmm. So some of the people that we've been working for are going to transfer over and help us out, as volunteers. And many of our people are going to be volunteers. So we have a lot of the same people, but a different group of people. So Stay Free is separate
between Stay Free and APP. You mean?
Yes. So just there is a line there, and Elections Alberta creates that divide, and we're happy to live within those rules. And that's actually one of the things we're waiting for, is to make sure that we're very clear on the differences between what APP can do, what APP cannot do, and what is the purview of Stay Free Alberta.
Cool. Well, Mitch, I'm just going to say this to the audience. Over the next week, as this starts to roll out more, if you have questions, show up with them, because or text me them, because that way we can have them compiled and we can make sure that we're answering what Albertans want to know as this thing moves forward. And I don't know, is there a way also, I don't know if there's an answer, of giving us a total each week? Like, is that possible, of like how many signatures is up to, or is that a little
probably
more?
Not, but it's a fair question.
I think that's going to be you know what, let's break it down into we're doing good, really good, very good, or excellent, and leave it at that, because we've had internal discussions on how that could hurt us as well.
Okay.
So we're just going to assure people that we're working very hard, and we'll assure them that we're doing well. And I'm going to share with you right now, as far as we're at with day 3, I think I couldn't be more excited.
Cool.
I really mean that. And I mean, all of us that have done these events are just absolutely blown away by the support, and absolutely blown away by the energy and the excitement of the people that are attending. Everybody's really taking this. I think this could be a really big deal.
Absolutely. I would say that you're probably right in that determination, because as many people as possible, whether you think it's going to pass or be close or whatever else, if this is something you support, you should be signing it, because the worst case scenario is that you guys show up with 2 million signatures or 4.8 million signatures, and the only people who didn't sign it were Rachel Notley. Right? That's the worst case scenario.
And wouldn't we all agree? From every petition I've ever heard, they always have signatures they don't accept. So getting more is better. You need more. You can't act like, oh, you hit the 177, we're done. It's like, nope, no. Because there's a good chance that, you mentioned 50,000 off the other one. It's like, well, how many are they not going to allow? We already know that from people I know in different parts of the country, when they were trying to start provincial parties or their own petitions, there's always an amount of signatures that aren't allowed. So I think people should, if you're interested in this, get involved. and get, as Mitch has pointed out, if you're one person, you get 10 more people to sign. Perfect. Here's Jacqueline just asking, I think many utility bills are only in one name. So if a husband and wife live in the same residence, will a utility bill be accepted for both? Do you know the answer to that, Mitch?
I don't, but I would assume yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I just want to give a shout out to our event happening in Calgary on January 26th at the BMO Center. We're expecting a big group. So, I'm just doing a little advertising for that. We're going to be in the cities starting soon. We're in Edmonton last night. So we're going to, go and do these big events. And the bigger they are, the media may not be able to ignore them.
What date?
They're going to want to, or either intentionally or also intentionally misrepresent.
What date is it, Mitch? And where is it at?
January 26th at the BMO in Calgary.
And how can they sign up for that, or do they just show up?
They just show up.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not turning anybody away.
Cool.
Fair
All
enough.
right. Well,
actually, that brings up another really good point. Is personally, I really appreciate the fact that you guys kicked it off in small towns. You went to Water Valley and then Didsbury and then Bicycle, rather than saying, oh, we're going to go to downtown Calgary first. The rural people have been ignored largely by people wanting their support in terms of politics lately. And I would say lately in terms of decades. And it's nice to see that, oh, actually, you know what? We want to show up where people appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Hasn't it been a big problem in our provincial politics for the last 2 or 3 elections? Oh, we got to focus on Calgary.
Yep.
And totally ignore rural Alberta. I mean, Bonneville produces 35% of Alberta's oil, and you want to drive down Highway 28. It's just nonsensical. And our people have been complaining, our MD's been complaining for years and years that we're being ignored. So, yeah. So, you know what? We understand who our tribe is, if you want to put it that way. I'm based in rural Alberta. This movement started in rural Alberta. And you know what? We understand how important those people are. And we also want them to understand, and I'll say this again for the second time, that we need to win the province. So if we can win it with everybody from rural Alberta signing.
The audience here, Zane asking, is it 50% of the total population or only the naturalized eligible voters?
For our petition?
I'm guessing.
Or for the win. So let's go there.
Answer it however you like.
So the petition is 10% of the people that voted at the last provincial election. So that's those 1.7 million people that voted in that election. So we need 177,000 signatures. As far as the margin of victory for the referendum, it's 50+1 as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
For the win.
It's 50+1. So what I would suggest to everybody in the room is Quebec. What did they end up with? 49.5 last time. I don't want to be missing it by half a point. I want to make very sure that if we lose, we lose based on the fact that we just didn't have the support. But we don't want to miss anybody and have it cost us the election. And I think that everybody has to understand that we're never going to get another shot at this. Everybody has to understand that, as far as I'm concerned, it's straight uphill for us. As far as for benefit for Albertans. And I really think that if you're going to pick a fight or something that you're going to spend a lot of time on for the next 6-8 months, I think this could be a major payoff for everybody in Alberta. I really do.
Well, not could be. Like it straight up is.
Well, yeah, 100%. Even
math,
socially.
The math is very simple and easy and clear.
Yeah.
And that's why the media has been trying to obfuscate it so much. Because and the thing about it is that people don't really talk about, and if I was going to push back on one thing in your town halls a little bit, is that you mentioned culture a little bit here and there, but it's by no means the focus. You guys spend a lot of time talking about the economics, which is good, but the economics comes downstream of the culture. It's not that we just magically happen to have all the oil and it happened to fall within the borders of where the provinces ended up. It's the people who wanted to build these sort of things voted for the kind of people who would allow these things to happen. We talk about proven oil reserves, and meanwhile, in fucking Quebec and Nova Scotia, they've got frack bans. Well, I guess Nova Scotia just lifted theirs, but the point is that none of the exploratory stuff has even bothered to happen because none of the extraction is legal in other places. And you've got this culture of people who want to build things, who want to do things, who don't need somebody to give them stuff. In other parts of Canada, they vote for who's going to give them the most free stuff. And in Western Canada, we vote for whichever political party is going to fuck off the most. And we don't talk enough about how the economics that end up as a result of that is downstream of the fundamental differences in culture.
So I 100% agree with you. And in my particular thing, my presentation is about 40 to 50 minutes long based on history and what's happening. But you know what? I think I'm going to have to take it upon myself to actually include basically, Cole's Notes version of what you just said before we even start. And I'd be very happy to do it because I agree with you. There is more than the money part here. There's a cultural, social part, and we do have our own identity. It's very clear to me, and anybody that's ever lived here understands that we're different. You just have to, just for example, we had a meeting with Paul Plimonin, and I'm sure he's not going to mind me sharing this with you. And he said, he says that Albertans work basically a lot. And, he asked me, like, how many hours, is the typical Albertan role? In my case, I said, I work 55 to 60 hours a week. And he basically said, I would never do that.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny. I didn't even realize I didn't even realize until Water Valley on Tuesday that, I worked in Bonnyville for like 10 years. And so I have walked through the doors of your store many times over the years, but I didn't even make the connection until Tuesday night.
Well, good. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. So actually I started that as a 21-year-old and I'm running it for 49 years later. Still, it's still my store. And you know what? I moved to Bonnyville. And you want to talk about Albertans and culture. I moved to Bonnyville to hunt, fish, and play hockey for the Pontiacs. And that was the reason I wanted to live in rural Alberta, because I moved there 100% for lifestyle. And I mean, we worked really hard. We worked hard enough so that we could succeed and make a living. But the other thing I wanted to do, I didn't want to work in the oil patch. So I wanted to be home every night. So I wanted a place that would allow all of that to happen. So I built my lifestyle around, I built my business around my lifestyle. So, and I really believe that here in Alberta, we have the opportunity to build the life that we want to choose. We've always had that. And that's the point of that. The point of that is if you really want to become a rich person and you want to do work that other people don't want to work, you can probably go to the oil patch and do that. But you're going to be working every day for 20 years before you get to a point that's going to actually happen. And you can do that here. And the other thing, that one more comment on that while I'm thinking about it. I was in BC fishing and walked into Prince Rupert to a tackle shop, and the guy said, "You blue-eyed Arabs from Alberta." Is exactly what he called us, blue-eyed Arabs. And I said to him, I'm making all this money. And I said to him, well, you can come down here and work in the oil patch and make that kind of money. You can lay underneath a pipe in the snow at 20 below and weld it. There's absolutely, you can go out there and work 18-hour shifts, 6 and 1, 14 and 2, all those shifts that those guys are working away from home. So
21 and 3.
21 and 3. Right. So they're 21 and 3. So they come home for 3 days. And by the time they get to their other 21, they've been gone 42 of 45 days. Like that's a hard living. The reason those guys get paid money is because nobody wants to do that. And
correct.
And we do it and we succeed at it. So there you go. That's part of our culture too.
Mitch, appreciate you hopping on, and we'll look forward to seeing things progress here. There will be lots of new things coming here, and not only the week ahead, but the days, probably hours ahead. And best of luck, and we'll be, showcasing it here on the show for sure. I know there's a ton of people who listen and are following along, and not only in Alberta, but elsewhere that are rooting for it. So look forward to seeing the developments here in the coming days, weeks, and, I guess months ahead.
Just call me anytime, Sean. I'm happy to come on and we'll have conversation most anytime you can, if I can fit it in my schedule. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very
Awesome.
much, Mitch.
Okay, take care.
All right. So there you go. There's an update on everything going on with the petition. And if you got your questions, by all means, fire them away. You can text me and everything as we move along here in the next week till the next mashup. Twos, just for your brain. You got 45 minutes before the guy sitting backstage is coming on. So you got 45 minutes to pull together the crap show that is this week's mashup.
We're not having Jim come on right now?
No, we are not. No.
I don't know. He was doing something. He was holding up a piece of paper and I couldn't even see what was on it. So he's trying to speak to us somehow. And it's like he doesn't realize that there's a chat window that he could just type into over here. But regardless, hey, he's doing great.
We're not going to worry about that. Okay, let's start with municipalities, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've kind of been a gong show.
Well, let's start with Calgary and another water break and like flooding and everything else. And then she said the report is saying that kind of information didn't filter up to key decision makers, which is a big problem. Then she said on CBC Radio's The Calgary Eye Opener on Thursday, city officials repeatedly recommended an inspection of key water feeder mains in 2017, 2019, 2022, according to the independent review of Bears Paw catastrophic 2024 break.
Well, that seems to directly contradict what he just said.
Correct. After the 2013 floods for 10 years, they didn't bother to do anything any investigation on the water main, and you have to ask the question, well, who was the mayor? And that was Naheed Nenshi. The premier told reporters all of this should have been identified early so that now subsequent mayors are not having to deal with it. Nenshi called the premier's comments total garbage.
I mean, she's literally calling it as it happened. The independent review directly contradicts what he said. So is the independent review total garbage as well? Like, I get the fact that he can say, oh, well, Danielle Smith just wants to take pot shots at me. But what he really needs to address, and this is the failing of journalists all over the place, is that when someone comes on your show, you don't push too hard. You kind of give them softballs. You give them easy passes on mistakes they make when they're talking about things. Except for you, you're the one exception. That I think David Knightleg is probably the smartest person that either one of us has ever met. I've got nothing but respect for the guy. But when he was talking about how the reason why the NDP got power in 2015 was because of the splitting of the vote. And then you pushed back very simply, very factually, boom, 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 boom. And that was, well, I mean, I told you, I think that's probably the coolest thing you've ever done on the show. So props to you for that. But here's the thing is that he needs to, if he wants to address the claims that Danielle Smith is making, he needs to point at their source. And the other thing about it is that somebody leaked him access to that report before the province had access to it, before the city councilors had access to it. He was the first guy who got to look at that as a member of the opposition and former mayor, which is fucking suspicious.
Do you want to show some of the pictures of Edmonton? Speaking of different communities, there's a ton in here. You can show some videos too if you want to, but just, heavy snowfall, them plowing roads and completely plowing, certain lanes, as you can see.
Yeah, well, here, I guess, there, and we'll go here.
This is what the city does to people's driveways. Look at how big that is. My car is not coming out of it. My mom's car can't even get back in. Like, what the frick is this nonsense?
Well, I mean, in all fairness to what the frick is this nonsense, it would take you like 5 minutes to shovel that away. But at the same time, the city of Edmonton is absolutely fucking up.
I know, but that video is hilarious. It's like, look at the size of this. It's like, get your shovel out, man, and just shovel it out. No, you took your phone out and made a video out of it instead. I'm like,
it took you longer to film that video than it would
to shovel it.
Yeah.
I mean, out of all the things that were in the snow plowing, I'm like, that one is is about as minor as it gets.
Exactly. But there's a lot of legitimate things. Like you can't really tell because if they were smarter while filming this, they would have been a little bit further back so that they could show the slope of it. But the city of Edmonton won't pick up our garbage on 105th Street and 98th Ave. People in our condo building had used their personal trucks to haul and dump garbage last week because collection trucks are no longer dealing with it. And so you've got this synergy where the plow drivers aren't clearing the alleys, and then the garbage collectors can't make it up this hill to get to the dumpster. And so because the one department isn't doing their fucking job, the other department isn't doing their fucking job. It's
I mean,
like, look, Edmonton, if you people at the city are listening, I get it. The bike lanes are immaculate. Wonderful. Great job. They should be the last thing on the list. Maybe you should start plowing the roads instead of plowing the taxpayers.
let's move on to some rapid fire. How about Conan O'Brien? If you're a comedian, you always need to be funny.
Now, where the hell? Oh, yes. Here we go.
Comics go the route of, I'm going to just say F Trump all the time, or that's their comedy. And I think, well, now a little bit you're being co-opted because you're so angry. You've been lulled. It's like a siren leading you into the rocks. You've been lulled into just saying F Trump, F Trump, F Trump, screw this guy. And I think you've now put down your best weapon, which is being funny, and you've exchanged it for anger. And that person or any person like that would say, well, things are too serious now. I don't need to be funny. And I think, well, if you're a comedian, you always need to be funny. You just have to find a way.
And that's exactly it. When it comes to all this stuff, like, I try and be funny about this stuff. And the neat thing about it is that me trying to be funny is more often than not literally just talking about things in a factual brass tacks way. Like that's all it takes to be funny. When you talk about what's going on in the world, is you just say, here's what they said, here's what they did, here's what happened. And that's it. There's not even punchlines to most of the things that I say. And shout out to one of the scrutineers I met at Water Valley. Her name eludes me, but she was like, you just look so familiar. You look so familiar. And then I was like, well, it's possible that you watched the thing called the Mashup. Oh, yes. And she said that I'm the reason why this show is awesome. And so I really appreciated that.
Don't let it go to his head. Don't let it go to his head. All right.
But that's all I do. Like, that's the secret
Has there
sauce.
been has there ever been an easier time to be a comedian?
No. This stuff, like, you literally, that's the secret sauce, is you don't need punchlines. You don't need to come up with witty ways that things intertwine.
Remember when we went across Saskatchewan and we went to all those little pubs?
Yeah.
And we basically just read the news headlines and everybody was laughing. It's like,
that was it.
This is the world we live in.
That's all it took. And we got to raise a lot of money for people who've been hurt by fires and for people who are trying to stop fires from hurting people. Rochelle said, by the way, that we're taxed to the nines, presumably in Edmonton. They also have natural growth area and nice areas where they allow overgrowth of weeds. My street hasn't been plowed once. So yeah, it's not just the accounts on Twitter that are noticing this. It's everywhere.
Yes. Hey, Rochelle, nice to have somebody in from Edmonton tune into the Mashup. Canada,
go Flames.
Canada poised to lose 4,000 restaurants in 2026. Does anyone care? This is Sylvain Charlebois, the food professor. According to official figures, Canada's restaurant sector appears remarkably resilient. But if you go down, it says business closures do not occur when conditions deteriorate. They occur when resilience is depleted. Owners exhaust personal capital, restructure debt, and postpone difficult decisions in the hope that conditions improve. For many restaurants, that hope carried them through 2023 and 2024. By 2026, the arithmetic becomes unavoidable. Pandemic-era loans mature, deferred liabilities crystallize, and margins that were already thin turn negative. And one of the things he points to is lower consumption of alcohol. Canadians are drinking less.
That's the big thing. In the 2008 crash of everything, The one thing that just stayed constant and didn't even go down at all was alcohol sales. People changed which brands they bought, but they didn't. So they would buy cheaper beer, but they still bought the same amount of beer. And now we're getting to the point where the cheap beer, presumably, is too fucking expensive, and people aren't. Alcohol is wonderful. It's the thing that just lets you wash away all the day's troubles and start anew with a slight headache for a couple hours the next day. And we're getting to a point where people can't even afford to do that. That's how bad things are. This isn't even the canary in the coal mine. This is the guy running the elevator, because presumably they still have elevator people running. Anyways, the point is that this is way past the canary. It's a big deal.
Well, for alcohol, you have the escalator tax. Every April 1st, the cost of alcohol goes up.
Because it's a free guaranteed source of revenue, because no matter how bad things get, people will still get a little bit wasted. And yet now we're getting to a point where they're like, well, I mean, if this keeps up, I might have to stop drinking. That's how bad things are in this country.
Video game developer Ubisoft closes Halifax office as a decision not linked to union. Video game maker Ubisoft Entertainment, best known for its Assassin's Creed franchises, closed its production studio in Halifax, eliminating 71 jobs 3 weeks after most staff members voted to unionize.
Two completely unrelated events.
Unrelated.
Was it Starbucks that
Yes.
Yeah, and then also there was the Walmart.
Correct.
Yeah, so
it has nothing to do with that.
It has nothing to do with unions. Here's the thing. Is unions as a concept, fuck it, sure. The problem is that the way unions are given free reign to just unleash chaos in companies in Canada is the problem. It's not that unions themselves are bad. It's that they get this carte blanche to completely fucking destroy companies. And that's what happens in this country.
Video game maker Tencent, Ubisoft is just a name now. Sorry to bring that up. I assume that's true, Brett. I actually didn't know that. Is that true? I assume that's true.
I don't know. I need to learn how to make wine myself from the comments. Yeah, you do. Actually, making wine, making beer, making whiskey is really easy. And for the record, anybody who works in the oil field, like 90% of making beer, and this is coming from somebody who at one time, the next step up for me in home brewing was just to become a brewery commercially. 90% of it is scrubbing shit. So if you spent any time as a roughneck, it's a perfect transference of skills.
London Drugs' long-feared exit from Woodward's, a huge loss and worrying signal. Shortly after, employees at the London Drug store in Vancouver's Woodward building were notified Tuesday that the location would permanently close within weeks. The company's president, Clint Malman, received a phone call. It was a representative of the BC Premier's office asking if London's drugs would consider its decision to shutter the store on the edge of Vancouver's downtown east side. And I had to communicate, this is quote, I had to communicate the decision is final. Malman told, we just can't continue to withstand exposing our staff and our customers to this environment and continue to absorb these losses. He said persistent safety incidents and significant operating losses at the site. When we went into this location in 2009, we bought this into the vision of the province and the city, and clearly that vision has not come to alive. We lost tens of millions of dollars in that location since we've opened, and we just don't see that environment turning around.
Now, that's one location.
They've
lost tens of millions of dollars.
Correct. Nestor's Market, which is in the same area, said they've seen a 400% increase in violent incidents over the previous 2 years.
Oh, a 400% increase. The only thing that goes up in an NDP-ran province, apparently, is violence. I mean, that's not true because it's also inflation, homelessness, drug use, things like that. But violence is also one of them.
Sticking with BC not returning to decriminalized public drug use. The premier says BC's drug decriminalization pilot project will expire on January 31st, and it is still unclear what that change might look like. The 3-year pilot removed criminal penalties for the possession of small amounts of illicit drugs, which was aimed at reducing the stigma around drug use to encourage people to seek help, but it quickly became controversial. No kidding. On Tuesday, BC Premier David Eby said the government is still working closely with the federal government in the issue. Quoted, but let me be clear, we're not going back to the old policy of decriminalized public drug use in British Columbia. It didn't work, and we ended that. So we're in close conversations with the federal government. I look forward to having more to share soon about that.
Yeah. So he's basically saying we fucked up. That's a very long way to say we fucked up and people died. Now, if I fuck something up and people die as a result, I probably go to jail. If you do something that causes people to die, you're probably going to go to jail.
We're in the midst of probably going to jail just for having this conversation to us.
All right. Okay, that's a fair point. But if I don't know, run somebody over with my car, or I was to use a firearm recklessly and shoot somebody, or if whatever reason, if I do something as a citizen,
or if a man shows up with a crossbow in your house at night and you protect yourself, you go to jail. Yes.
Well, not in Alberta apparently, but in Ontario you would. And so here's the thing is that why the fuck are we not saying that if you, because you want to be this progressive fucking idiot, want to institute a bunch of policies that cause people to literally fucking expire, why are you not brought up at the very least on manslaughter charges?
Because the politicians in our world live by a different
legal
system.
Here's something. I just saw this on the side of this article. So Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry, they're on vacation. If you don't have a job anymore, you're not on vacation, by the way. But so this former part-time snowboard instructor is on vacation indefinitely. And look at their arms. Look at their arms in this picture. Their arms are around each other, which means that they went on vacation with just the two of themselves and a fucking photographer. How vain do you have to be like, we're just going to have a nice... We're just going to have a nice
vacation. This song is about you. Anyways,
it's just the two of us. It's just the two of us, and we're in love. And also, there's a photographer.
Mashup 190. That's what we're at right now. Calgary restaurant owners. I'm happy to be back. It's good to see twos as much as...
It's good to see you, Sean.
Yeah. Calgary restaurant owner just jailed for financial abuse of temporary foreign workers. 3 restaurant owners who financially abused their immigrant employees were handed jail terms this week by Calgary judge. The offenders, Manikandan Kasanath Fan, Jandra Mahoan Marjak, and Mary Roche were each sentenced to 90-day jail terms to be served on weekends after they were convicted of fraud over $5,000. There were two of them were co-owned Marina Doza and Tandoori Grill in Calgary will also be placed on 18-month probation and must pay back the $44,000 they stole from 3 employees. The victims, all from India, moved to Calgary between 2017 and 2020 as temporary foreign workers on employee-specified permits to work as cooks at the offender's restaurant. Once here, the victims were told they had to pay $24,000 each for a labor market impact assessment for government fees relating to their immigration to Canada. In reality, under the temporary foreign worker program, employees were required to pay a $1,000 processing fee for an employee's assessment documentation. And yeah, it goes on. These guys paying a boatload of money.
Yeah, so they lied to the temporary foreign workers. They said, actually, if you got to work here, you got to pay all of this fucking money. And you don't have to pay it to the government. You have to pay it to us. So if anybody is watching from Mumbai or somewhere in the Kashmir region of India, and you're thinking about moving to Canada to work at Tim Hortons or something like that, as a hypothetical example, if you have to pay a government fee, you pay it to the government. So if somebody, your employer, for example, says you have to pay me cash, that's the exact same scam that you guys try and run on us. And I feel like if you're moving from a fake call center in Delhi where you're pretending to be from TELUS and saying that you need to fucking pay Amazon gift cards, and then you get a job working at Tandoori Grill in Calgary, you should probably recognize that you're being asked the same thing that you used to do at your future place of employment at the fake call center, and maybe some alarm bells should be going off.
16 tow trucks were intentionally set on fire in Brampton, Ontario last night. Actually, forgive me. I don't know if it was last night. This is the
Wasn't
tweet.
last night.
It wasn't last night. The
it was
tow
on the
truck turf
4th.
war is heating up. Another tow truck was reportedly set on fire at a car dealership close by on the same night. I forget what night that was. Apologies. But here is the tow truck war coming back in full view.
Yeah. So, look, I've been talking about this.
We have been talking about this.
I'm okay. All right. Fair enough. You can ride on the coattails. So
Well, you seem to ride on the coattails an awful lot, Twos. Carry on.
we have noticed some discrepancies in different industries across this country, and we have been asking what the hell is going on with a tow truck industry of all random things, and we have been wondering why it seems like organized crime went from riding motorcycles to towing Volkswagen Jettas. And we would
Thank
like
you.
some fucking answers about the questions that we have regarding why this is happening in our country. And
Thank
that's
you. All I think of is Top Gun. I was flying. Sorry, Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why it took Trump to challenge Canada's dairy orthodoxy. This is another Food Professor article.
Yeah, we got a couple of them this week.
Yeah. U.S. President Donald Trump has made greater access to Canada's dairy market one of his stated expectations for CUSMA renewal.
Mhm.
And Ottawa's response has been swift and defensive. Prime Minister Mark Carney said this week that supply management would remain untouched.
Yeah. Read the subheadline though. That's the thing here. A joint Dalhousie University McGill University study estimates that Canadian dairy farmers discard anywhere from hundreds of millions to as much as 1 billion liters of milk each year, not because of food safety concerns, but to prevent oversupply and maintain elevated prices.
Correct.
We are in a country where something like 1 in 3 people, or I can't remember what it is, an astoundingly high number of people in this country are going to the food bank every fucking week. And meanwhile, we have people who are making and then dumping food, in this case, dairy. Not because it's, anything to do with quality control or quality assurance or anything like that, but just because they need to dump that much to keep the price of it high so that they can make more money. The fucked up economics of this country, which are set in place by this government, are such that it makes more economic sense to make something and throw it out rather than to sell it on the open market. And nobody thinks that there's any kind of a fucking issue with that, apparently, except for Sylvain Charlebois and us.
I still haven't heard from I'm still waiting for DC to start chiming back in.
I talked to him a little bit over Christmas. He's been flat out. But yes. I would just like to point out the fact that when you and I had our first conversation, which was re-aired on Boxing Day, you and I asked each of us questions about the dairy cartel because we kept on bringing up the dairy cartel and we didn't know what the dairy cartel was. And we were introduced to what the fuck the dairy cartel is on that our first conversation together.
I don't know about anybody else. Did your Friday need this? Because my Friday certainly did. Even the insane amount of things Twos put into a document, I needed this on a Friday. The world's largest online metal dealers are almost sold out of copper.
Yeah. So you weren't here last week because you're lazy, but Vesper and I talked about how one of the online distributors of precious metals was sold out of silver. And you talked about it with that guy whose name eludes me the other day.
Oh,
Well, the name eludes us. This is
Luke
perfect.
Luke Groman.
Okay. Well, Luke Groman talked with us the other day about investment in precious metals. And I think the only thing missing from that conversation between Luke Groman and the two of us was the fact that
You know what's funny, Tooz? There's this little thing I built in the new studio, and it should be Tooz's desk, so that statement could, in theory, become more true
Mhm.
only if you choose to accept. Anyways, carry on.
You built it and Field of Dreams, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Ray Liotta. All right.
So Copper,
Yeah.
I'm pulling
So-
you off subject here.
The only thing that the three of us were missing from that conversation was Claire, you're blocked.
You know what would only be better, Claire, is if I could hear it in your accent. That'd be great. Anyways, carry on.
Well, you know what? What we have decided.
We would like to hear it in your accent.
All right. We noticed that the only thing missing from our conversation the other day was the fact that there's kind of this mental thing because you're like, well, do I really want to buy, like, if you buy an ounce of gold, it's what, like almost $4,000 or sorry, that's US.
US.
It's almost
if I pull it up-
$500.
It's 62.37 as we sit here today. Here,
62.37.
we'll pull up a little silver gold bull. Shout out
Okay.
to them. The price of gold Canadian, 62.37. And once again, silver. Me and Ken were talking about this year in review. We thought, will it ever get over $100 in 2025? Well, we're in just days into 2026. 110
Yep.
for 1 ounce of silver here in Canada.
Oh, and by the way, I did a little bit of investment reallocation. And so because it's skyrocketed so much, I sold a little bit of my silver at a bit over $100 an ounce. So I made 2.5 times my investment in 18 months. And it was super easy. It was unbelievably easy with Silver Gold Bull. Unpaid endorsement. It was just
Well, I got to tell you, you know me. I'm fine bringing up SGB because they've been fantastic to not only the podcast but certainly the Cornerstone Forum right around the corner that's got the premier showing up to it. Yeah, they're one of the title sponsors of that too. So, like, if you're doing anything precious metals, and listen to this show, go to SGB. It's online, ship right to your door, super easy. Carry on, Tooz.
all right. So, people are investing in precious metals because it's safe, because it's secure, and nobody knows what in the fuck is going on this entire planet right now. But, are you going to spend $6,300 on 1 ounce of gold? Well, most people, because things have been a little bit fucky lately. Yes, Claire, you can try and find me. You can try and find us.
I'll share his location.
So
Carry on.
It's a hell of a lot easier to pay $110
You
for an
remember
ounce
this
of silver
show when
than it is to
you had the Tooz head? Yeah, anybody remember those days where Tooz is so nervous to show his face? Oh, those are great days. Carry on.
Anyway.
I don't know where are you going with copper? Where are you going with this?
The point is the reason I would say that the reason why silver has accelerated so much further than gold lately is because it's a lot easier. It's a lot more attainable to buy 1 ounce of silver than it is to buy 1 ounce of gold.
Venezuela.
thoughts?
I mean, there's a ton here. I don't know
Okay.
where you and Vesper got to.
All
on
right.
this.
Okay. Days worked for taxes before you get to that. So here you go. Fraser Institute. June 8th is Tax Freedom Day this year. It was in May last year, I think. It keeps moving every fucking year.
You know what
So
stop that graph? That chart?
Separation.
Just saying.
Yeah. So, just keep in mind while you're outside in minus 40 with working on pieces of steel that are breaking because they're so fucking brittle because it's so fucking cold, and you've got to watch to get frostbite on your cheeks and and nothing fucking works right and nothing wants to fucking start and everything sucks because it is cold as balls, all that time you're spending is for dickheads in Ottawa. And it's not until June 8th until you start working for yourself.
There you go. Anything else? Can we talk Venezuela?
Sure, we can talk Venezuela. Fine, let's talk
I
Venezuela.
have no idea how many things you populated in that thing after I left, so I'm probably missing a few. But I'm looking at Jim and I'm going, we now have roughly 15 minutes until Jim comes on. So the countdown is on.
Well,
Ebby says Canada should build refineries, not pipelines, after Venezuelan attack. I, like many Canadians, am glad to see the back of Mr. Maduro. Ebby told reporters, referring to the ousted Venezuelan leader as a terrible man and a tyrannical dictator. If we've got tens of billions of dollars to spend, I think we should spend it on a refinery, and we should develop our oil products for Canadians and for export instead of being reliant on American and Chinese refineries to do it for us.
Yeah, except nobody owns the fucking land in your province, you fucking numpty. And also, that directly contradicts the head of your party, which is not you, David Eby, Premier of British Columbia. The head of your party is Don Davies, the federal party, because the NDP provincially exists as a subset of the federal party. And the federal party's stance is that this was a horrible attack by an evil orange man. It's the only thing orange that they don't like is Donald Trump.
Brett says he saw two different stories on X with Ebby and refineries. Curious, what was the other story, Brett, while we carry on? You have Sharon Kaur, the dangerous precedent of Poilievre's support of Maduro's arrest. She goes on a whole tirade of that. But do you want to show the Carney video as well?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit fucking awkward because, you know, Pierre Poilievre is evil for supporting or for saying that he likes what Donald Trump did in Venezuela. And here,
I'll say a couple of things. One is that, from our perspective, the removal of an illegitimate, corrupt, repressive government or leader, Mr. Maduro, is welcome news.
ooh, so is she going to say the exact same thing? So keep in mind that now Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre have the exact same stance on an issue. If you're going to write an entire op-ed about why Poilievre's stance on the issue is bad, I would expect that you would write an identical one, which is changing the names, which should be easy because this is the lady who we showed a few weeks ago gets ChatGPT to write all her shit. It should be easy to just say, take that same article and change Carney for Poilievre.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's when it comes to this, is that I don't know if you noticed this, but even people who said that Maduro is an evil socialist dictator under illegitimate legitimacy, forgive the redundancy, but the point is they're like, he lost an election, refused to leave. He is an illegitimate dictator. And then when Trump says, well, you know what? We're going to go in. We're going to take him in the middle of the night. It's going to be great. There's going to be a big, beautiful bomb. And then we're going to take him out and we're going to haul him away to Kansas. When he does that, they're like, oh, this is bad because Trump did it. This is the same sort of shitty logic they use when they talk about hate crimes. Because the idea behind a hate crime is you do something that is bad, and then depending on what your mindset is when it happens, but not even what your mindset is, what your mindset is purported to be by the people prosecuting you, that further affects the sentencing of it. Because it's not just that it's bad, it's just that we think you did it because you hate Mexicans, or we think you did it because you hate women, or whatever else.
11 minutes till Jim shows up.
Okay.
Tighten it
Venezuela.
up.
All right.
Tighten it up.
You've got literally anybody in the world could have gone in, not in terms of logistics, but in terms of the hypothetical. Anybody in the world could have gone in and removed Nicolas Maduro, and they would have said it was a great thing. Okay? But because Donald Trump did it, it's bad. And because they think he just did it for oil, or because they think he just did it for this. And it doesn't matter what your fucking motivation is. This is a good thing for the people of Venezuela. If you think this is a bad thing for the people of Venezuela, I would encourage you to talk to literally any fucking Venezuelan possible. I know a couple of them. They were up all night partying and celebrating. Okay? This is it. It doesn't matter whether you like Trump or not, or whether you think he's evil, or Orange Man is bad, or the very real consideration that Venezuela is by no means out of the water. There's still a whole lot of shit to figure out in this fucking place. But every Venezuelan is happy that they are no longer living under a dictatorial regime that they had no say in voting for.
I would say not every Venezuelan. There's gonna be a lot, but
Yeah,
it'd be like if
okay,
Carney,
the
if they swooped in with, as I joked with Tom and Alex, like if they swooped in with one dog sled team and took our prime minister, there would be a ton of Westerners that are super happy about it. There'd also be a ton of
that's
Easterners
exactly
that are
it.
like losing their mind.
You'd have a whole bunch of people who are happy that they're no longer living under a shitty regime that they didn't vote for. Funny the corollary, but here's the thing: is the only people in Venezuela who would be who are upset about this
9
are
minutes.
the people who get fucking paid
9 minutes.
because of that shitty situation. And it's the same thing in Canada, whether it's a government employee or the fucking welfare cases in Nova Scotia. Sorry, not sorry.
There's a few different people saying they want to hear more singing from Sean. And then there's also great impressions. So I think we need more Trump and more singing on the show. Is that what I'm taking? I don't know if that's true. I don't know how much. Anyways, do we need to beef up security for Doug Ford in 2026 in response to Maduro?
Yeah. This is by far the shittiest thing, the stupidest thing I've heard from anybody is, do we need to worry because Doug Ford has been picking a fight with Donald Trump and maybe he's going to get taken out by American special forces? Yes, absolutely. You know what? You're so on point for that. In fact, the only reason why they took out Maduro in Venezuela was so that they could secure the oil and gas supply, so that the Chinook helicopters needed to transport Doug Ford's fat ass from Toronto to Missouri had enough fucking fuel to make the trip, you fucking numpty.
Hands off Greenland. Do you want to show the Donald Trump video?
Oh, I would, but I already closed it.
Okay, fair enough. Show me some I tell you what, in the lead up to this, the driver's videos too, is I want you to pull this up while I talk about it, because I was like, I ran out of time. I'm like, you know what? I'm going into driver's blind from now on because I know it's going to be just crappy drivers happening everywhere. All you have to do is get on the highway and literally follow any semi at this point. And there's a ton of semi drivers that I know that are fantastic, but some of the stuff going on the roads right now here in Alberta, Saskatchewan on the border is just wild. I almost watched 2 semis go at it right in front of me as one pulled out on the Highway 16. It was wild. It was like 25 feet in front of me and a semi going side by side, relatively, 50 kilometers an hour probably. And probably both of us watching, this guy's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He does it. I pretty much stopped dead where I am and just watch as a semi almost collides with it. I don't know how he stopped. Anyways, carry on with the drivers too.
All right. So this one's fucking, this looks like a fucking my favorite.
Oh man! Yes. Holy fuck! All right.
Look at the way he fucking made that jump.
Oh,
Boom. That's some Fast and Furious shit right there. Except it's more Fast and Flip Flops. Oh, that's what we should call the segment now. Fast and Flip Flops. This, I put it in with the drivers, but it's just a drunk guy at a park in Edmonton waving around a sword, or pardon me, in Toronto, waving around a sword very, very badly.
I just stuck it in the drivers. Why not? Some sword waving.
Well, I mean, it was just the easy place for it to go. This is
Glenn.
on the LRT.
Glenn, I'm not talking about you. Carry on.
He says, well, he's not talking about the fact that he has a big rig. He's talking about the fact that he's a little bit hard from watching these goofy videos. He says, I have a semi.
Carry
All right. Here's one on the tracks and the train's coming down. And there he is, just standing there, out of the way. He's going to hide behind the electrical panel for the ensuing carnage. It's always the last ones you'd expect. Just
I'm
listen.
heading southbound on the 404. I understand the snowplows are trying to do their job, but they're driving at 20 kilometers an hour down the highway. And if I'm late again, I'm going to be penalized at work.
Penalized.
Literally 20 kilometers an hour, miss. There's 5 of them. Like I said, once these trucks move, it's going to be people are going to be doing 140 all the way down the highway.
I don't know if it's the town that does that or it would be MTO, but it's certainly not the police, unfortunately.
Like, it is becoming a miss. You might want to send an officer out here.
Yeah. So they were driving in. They were basically doing the flying V from the Mighty Ducks down the road, doing 20 kilometers an hour, and the traffic was just piled on for miles behind them. This is a jaywalk. Oh, record scratch. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
What's this guy doing?
This is on the QE2. For those of you listening, the back door, it's one of those semis where the back door flips down to be the loading bay, and then there's the forklift and the pallets and everything like that. The loading bay is down. It's dragging along the highway, and the forklift is sitting on it with 4 pallets on it. Driving down the QE2, the main highway between Calgary and Edmonton. And this is the Brampton Spark Machine, the Bangladesh Spark Machine. I don't know if you tuned in or not oh no, that was you. That wasn't Vesper. That was you. When I was talking about Shoddy and the Spark Machine. This is the Spark Machine.
3.5 minutes. Carry on.
Okay. So anyways, the reason why I called it the Spark Machine was because I used to have this tool push, and he had stories about like every mile of road in a radius of 100 kilometers of Lloyd. He could tell you about how he wrecked a vehicle here or rolled over a vehicle there or whatever else. And where the King's Husky is or used to be on the east end of town, that railway crossing there.
Yes.
Yeah. So he had to bring out some BOPs to a rig, and so they just had a little trailer with a 2-foot pup on it, and they'd set the BOPs on there, and he was like, "Oh well, I'm in a rush, and it's on a 2-foot pup. How much do I really need to worry about it?" And so he didn't strap it down. He was just trying to get out the location right away. He goes over the train tracks going mock chicken because that's the only speed this guy drove at. I swear to God, we would leave every morning 20 minutes late and still get there 5 hours early, whether we were going to Tangle Flags or Senlac. It didn't matter. This guy was the laws of physics did not apply to the time velocities that he achieved. And so anyway, we're driving over these railroad tracks, and they're like, "Oh, it's a little bit bumpy." And he's like, "You want to hear about bumpy?" And he tells us about this time he goes over the mock chicken, and the BOPs, which are not dainty little fucking things, go all the way over the 2-foot pup that they had as a stump to keep them on and landed right in the middle of the railroad tracks. He's like, and that wasn't even the worst part. There was a train coming. And so I stop. I look at it. I look over at the train. He looks at us. And then he turns on the Spark Machine.
Okay. We got a minute and a half. Okay.
All right.
Some goofy.
So anyways, when we talk about the Spark Machine, that's where
it comes from. Chrystia Freeland hired by Zelensky. If you hadn't heard, that's a thing. You have the Minnesota fraud that's been going on. All that.
Tim Walz is resigning.
Correct. You got to see they're heading to California next. There's a whole bunch of things. State auditor found $70 billion in taxpayer funds have been lost, $24 billion on non-existent homelessness programs, $188 poured into non-existent high-speed rail, $32 billion COVID relief funds stolen, $2.5 billion lost in SNAP fraud, billion spent on rebuilding after the Palisades fires, no homes built.
You're burying the headline here. The point is that Governor Newsom's press office tweeted this when they said that they're going to come to California and investigate fraud. Governor Newsom's press office says, we'll make sure the Grindr servers are ready. Even from the left, it's now okay to make homophobic jokes.
Taylor Noakes, Canada must immediately cancel all military contracts with the U.S. There are cheaper alternatives that involve a greater degree of domestic production. If we have to spend tens of billions on military equipment, let's make sure it supports Canadian jobs. He went on to list a whole host of things that are bad ideas.
And you know what he doesn't take into account? The fact that the F-35s are so fucking militarily superior to the Swedish options that it's implausible that they would ever even get into a dogfight, because the F-35, talk to anybody about this. I ran it over. I went over it with Grok and I was talking about it with a few other people. The F-35 would shoot the Swedish thing before the Swedish thing even knew that the F-35 was there. And
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Jim. What you doing? What you doing, buddy?
I'm just listening to this amazing podcast, and I'm so glad you're saving the best to last. So I guess I'm part of that.
Yeah,
So,
you're part of
yeah,
Goofy
thank you.
News because I told Twos we had until I was counting it down. We're 11:15, which means Jim's just a part of the Goofy News. Carry on, Twos. Carry on your storytelling.
Well, all these big reasons why we should not get the F-35 from the U.S. and we should get the piece of shit from Sweden. For all intents and purposes, if we're going to spend all this money, we may as well just buy a few fucking pylons and put drones on them for the amount of defense that will be for us. If we're not going to buy something that is at least technologically on par with the rest of the world, what the fuck is the point? We may as well get like Zeros from World War II. Just any that didn't get kamikazed by the Japanese in World War II, we should just buy them up from whatever museums they're in and use those, because they stand about as much chance against an F-35 as the Swedish option.
A couple other things here. U.S. pulls out of the UN climate treaty, one of 66 international organizations losing support. Canadians trust, this is a headline, Canadians trust in the Prime Minister hits a 15-year high, survey finds. I don't know who's funding that sucker.
Oh, that was, I fucking closed the tab on it. But basically, that survey, that Environics Canada is funded by basically pretty much primarily all governments.
Yeah,
and
15-year high
results.
There's no friggin' way.
The nice thing about it, though, I will say, is that that's the first survey I've seen in Canada in a long time that does a 1 to 7 scale.
Minister
finally doing something right.
Minister McDonald to announce federal investment to support halal production. Honorable Heath McDonald, not the Heath I'm thinking of, Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food, will be in Albany, Prince Edward Island to announce federal investment to Atlantic Beef Products, Inc. to improve processing and package of halal products. He will be accompanied by Russ Millard, President and CEO of ABPI. So there's that. You also have Mayor Zoro Mamdani's newly instated tenant advocate, C. Weaver, broke down Wednesday as she had dodged questions from reporters about her what is this
gentrification? So basically what happened is that Mamdani brought in a bunch of socialists, and in classic socialist sense, they all came up from silver spoon places. And so she's talking about how landlords are just a sign of white supremacy and that nobody should have ownership of buildings and houses. And then one of the reporters said, okay, but your mom owns a $1.6 million house in Tennessee. And then she started crying and ran into her building behind her.
The hypocrisy knows no bounds. Holly Dome, Parliament should federalize rent controls and cover late payments for tenants at risk of immediate homelessness, says leadership candidate of the NDP. My plan takes housing back and brings in an end to corporate landlords who neglect tenants to boost profits.
The NDP, I don't know if I've said this before, but the NDP are not a serious party.
Mark Miller, the Canadian government announces a $200 million fund exclusively for Black-led organizations to provide sustainable funding for Black-led, Black-focused, Black-serving organizations. That is what diversity, equity, and inclusion looks like.
Does anybody who's a longtime listener to this show remember the time where we talked about the church, the literal church of the Underground Railroad, being refused funding?
Yes, I do.
From the federal government because it wasn't black enough? This is just an ongoing saga of absolute fucking idiocy. By the way, I just decided that as a business owner in Canada, I am now black. So I will take some of that money now, please. I'm going to file the paperwork this afternoon.
We'd been following a whole bunch of the Alberta recall legislation, petitioned 10,000 signatures short at first deadline looms in burst of Alberta recalls.
Now, keep in mind that they needed something like 16,000.
Yeah, it needs another 10,000 in the next 2 weeks to force a constituency-wide vote on whether Education Minister Dimitrios Nicolaitis should lose his seat. So that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, so it's not like they needed 1 million signatures and they're 10,000 short. They needed 16,000 and they're 10,000 short.
Correct. Calgary woman has been charged after throwing a 13-pound traffic pylon off a 14th floor Beltline balcony onto a snowy sidewalk. The incident happened Saturday, with reports reaching police on Monday. No one was hurt. Police called the act incredibly dangerous and said they want to show such stunts are taken seriously.
Yes. Goofy stuff. But just going back to that other one, remember when I was talking about all the different petitions that were coming out for the recall legislation? And I said it's important to keep in mind that this is just their ability to collect signatures and that nothing will happen if those signatures don't appear. And so basically it's just another instance of Tuesday's right of the week. Keep going.
Jonathan K. I think we should show, I think I have this somewhere, Tues. Do we have Jonathan K? Maybe I don't. Oh, yes, I do. Right here. Okay. Here it is. It says, our thoughts are with Vancouver Park Board Commissioner at this difficult time. Last night, Park Board did the right thing, apologized to the TGD2S community. Hey. After emotional
discussion, they can't even keep the acronym straight anymore.
After emotional discussion, shared some tears, disavowed J.K. Rowling, will undertake concrete actions. If you see underneath that.
So we had covered this before. What had happened was that Vancouver faced a bunch of backlash because in some of their parks or one of their parks, I'm not sure because I'm not in Vancouver, but they were doing a big thing like a Harry Potter Forbidden Forest experience in Stanley Park has been extended through early February 2026 due to unprecedented demand and enthusiastic response from the Vancouver market. Yes.
That's what they're talking about.
So, but people like this Thomas Digby had wanted it canceled because J.K. Rowling, they've decided is
because she speaks out,
brought up because she's just talking about biology in a clear and factual manner, and so that's unfair and mean, and so they wanted to cancel the Harry Potter themed park, which, to be fair, J.K. Rowling is probably getting exactly $0 fucking for this, but they wanted to cancel it because J.K. Rowling bad, and then it didn't get canceled, and in fact had to be extended because everybody fucking loved it so much. So fuck you and your new acronym fucking bullshit.
Manitoba's huge deficit could be addressed by bold thinking.
No. That's not it. Read like the first sentence of it.
I don't even have it up, Twos. Come on.
Okay. All right. We just got some very bad news in Manitoba about our financial situation. Apparently, our deficit is double what was just estimated 3 months ago. Who's in charge in Manitoba?
NDP.
Yeah. So they are up shit creek with a wob canoe.
Tim Walls, you want to show the video quickly of him taking no questions?
Yeah, sure. We could show that.
I love how Jim's waiting patiently. We're going to get to you, Jim.
I thought you said we were going to take questions. Why didn't you? This was him just announcing that he was resigning to spend more time with his family and not at all because of the Somalian daycare fraud.
I thought it was the R word.
Oh, yeah. That's, the interesting thing is that there was people defending him and say like, well, of course he's resigning. People are driving past his house and yelling retard, and he has an autistic son. Well, for everybody who's been driving past his house yelling retard, that was probably the first time they found out he had an autistic son.
Another one from Hollydome. Minister proposes to weaken foreign registry mandated by Parliament 19 months ago. Draft regulations disclosed Saturday suggest penalties as modest as a $50 fine and cash payments to foreign agents remain hidden. Regulations would allow certain information not to be published.
So we needed to make Canada more robust in its defense against foreign interference. And the guy who recused himself on 2 separate occasions from dealing with Sri Lankan terrorists is the guy who got put in charge. And he said, okay, well, you know what? We need to fix this. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to make the fine for foreign interference in this country $50.
Jim, what do you think of that? Jim, I feel like you might have some thoughts on foreign interference.
Well, I've been talking about it for a long time. We're so infiltrated by China and India. It's one of the reasons why the Americans don't invite us to the table when it comes to talking about global security, because we're not trusted. And again, going back to Ford needing security, well, he threatened to cut power off to the United States, and we kind of talked about it with that other with Brian Lilly, and he said that wouldn't be a threat to war. Well, we see now that they take these threats of energy seriously, and we should just be mindful of what we're saying to our best neighbor to the south, and forget about all this garbage about why Trump is doing this, that, and the other thing. He's securing the Northern Hemisphere for a war in 2027 because you got to take the Chinese leader for his word. And if it doesn't happen, great. But hope is not like a great plan. You got to actually do things to prepare yourself for bad times ahead. And if you don't, you're being a negligent leader that knows a threat is out there. So,
or maybe you want to encourage more of it to happen.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, there's got to be a point of self-reflection with the liberals where they say, you know what? It's kind of weird that places like China and organizations like Sri Lankan terrorists support us in our pursuits of controlling Canadian government. And if that's the case, well, hey, you know what? We're going to support the people who keep us in power. And so,
the money that gets siphoned off to all the people that come over here, they're getting $80,000 a year per person, and there's 10 of them in a house. They're getting like $800,000 to be in our country, and they're basically taking over everything. I'm okay with immigration if you got money in your bank account and you got something our country needs. I don't care where you come from in the world, as long as you come here and you be part of Canada and you follow our customs and you contribute. Settlers came here, they built this nation along with the natives that live in this part of the world. An immigrant comes here and takes from the nation, and I'm not okay with that. Like I've said that a zillion times. But getting back to the whole thing about the liberals, they're talking about Trump. They're setting up their narrative for the next election that, hey, listen, this is all about resources. They just want to take us over. It's not. This is about security of North America and keeping our resources secure from a potential threat from China. And that's as simple as it really is, that simple. And if we're not going to be a good neighbor, we're going to find ourselves economically broke, like what they did to Cuba when Cuba was going to put nuclear missiles in from Russia. Venezuela openly stated that they would let Chinese missiles be placed on their soil. So if there was a war, they'd be able to affect the Gulf region and stop the oil flow from coming in that way. They'd also be able to control what's moving in and out through Panama Canal. Like, that's really what's going on here. And they're not, everything else is being talked about. And yes, it's good that a dictator was taken down. It's bad for us that Carney should have been fucking making deals back in April to get oil pipelines up and running, which Trump asked him to do. He didn't do it. Now he's spinning the narrative, hey, this is a good reason why we should start selling oil to China. Well, in 2 years, we're going to be in fucking with war with China. Why are we trying to focus on selling our goods to a market that will be closed off to us if there is a war? We got to open up our borders. We got to get oil to Quebec. Like, fuck Quebec. They got to start making refineries down there that produce fuel from our heavy crude. And we got to get all the trade corridors done, opened up across every province in the country so we can trade with each other, start building our own industries back. And where they're shutting down all these plants in Ontario, start building stuff for our own military there. But we don't need a large navy like they want to do. We can start like the Ukrainians. They took out the second largest navy with drones. We can learn from those things. It's up to us as a people to like grab hold of the reins. And if separation is part of it, then that's part of it. I'm a proud Canadian. I don't want to separate, but if we separate and we ruin Ottawa, that just means the rest of Canada is going to join us. Like, Ottawa is not Canada. It's who we are as
It's
a
the
people.
cancer growing in Canada.
Yeah. Anyways, you got me on a rant here. You got me on a rant.
Well, before we get to the reason Jim's here, let's go to ICE. Let's talk ICE quickly.
Well, no.
and
You're skipping over the Oxford comma.
Okay, you want the Oxford comma.
Sean likes to make fun of me for my sticklerism on grammar. But this is a perfect example. And Sean's not even listening. He just got up and left. He's like, fuck your Oxford
He went
comma.
to get a beer. He went to get himself a beer for a toast.
All right, here's a perfect example. Among those interviewed were Merle Haggard's two ex-wives, Chris Christopherson and Robert Duvall. This book is dedicated to my parents, Ayn Rand, and God. Highlights of Peter Ustinov's global tour include encounters with Nelson Mandela, an 800-year-old demigod, and a dildo collector. This is why grammar matters, folks. This is why I pointed out.
I'm speechless. What do you want me to say about that?
Well, he just loves highlighting the Oxford comma.
Okay.
I hear you.
All right.
I hear
also,
you too.
Toronto District School Board was duped into sending $1 million,
$1 million to a fraudster
who can barely spell.
Yes. And let's switch to ICE. Okay. Woman killed by ICE. Do you want to show the video? Do you want to?
No.
This was a law enforcement officer. I can give you a little insider information. If you try to hit one of us with your car, we might shoot you for it multiple times. Getting hit with the car isn't something we signed up for. It hurts, and not the good hurt. Damn, woman, you put a little umph in it today, huh? It's the bad hurt that involves hospitals, speeches, and your face on a t-shirt.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody's saying, is this right? Is it wrong? Is it good? Is it bad? At the end of the day, you've got somebody who tried to run over somebody with a car. Like, full stop. That's it. It sucks that she's dead, but it doesn't, no matter what your take on it is, you've still got somebody who got shot while trying to run over another person with a car.
Jim, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's terrible what's going on down there, like, especially in that state. When the governor is telling the police departments not to support ICE in what they're doing. And hey, listen, if you're a legal immigrant in the United States, the offer is you can go and turn yourself in, go make sure you got all your paperwork. Hey, and if you're legitimate, not a problem. You're going to walk out the door. If you're illegitimate and you're there illegally, they're going to arrest you and take you back to wherever you're supposed to go. So when you got like the head of states telling their judges and their police not to help ICE, it creates these chaotic environments. Like when ICE was arresting that or in that neighborhood, they asked for police to come down there and control the crowd, and the police didn't go. So now you got an agent that was previously run over months ago. So now he's in another situation where he's going to get run over. And he barely lived through the last time he was run over. So he's recovered from his injuries. Somebody's trying to run him over again. Hey, we all make mistakes, but when it comes to your life, it's better to be tried by 12 than carried by 6. It's important that you go home to your family, and our police officers and firemen that go to work every day, they take their life for granted because they don't understand when they walk out that door. I hope they say I love you to their wives and their kids because they might not walk back in that door. And it's their complacency because they expect to come home. That's not the case for these guys. Like anything could happen on that shift, anything could go down, and you want to make sure that you're actually coming home. So, as being a guy that's had to put a gun on people and squeeze the trigger, uh, I have no guilt about that at all. I know in my brain that I was justified to do it, and I guess we're going to see where the courts take this. But I appreciate the stance on both the Vance and his look on things. And if this is a illegitimate illegal shooting, then there's a system to try that person, and he's going to have to face the consequences. So hey, let's not be armchair quarterbacks. Let's let this play out. And the state of Minnesota or whatever doesn't have a role in investigating this. This is the FBI. So if you don't have trust in your federal police, and then that's their country. It's not ours. I don't know if I would trust our RCMP because they don't investigate anybody that's been stealing us blind for years. They just turn a blind eye to it. So I think those guys need some better sunglasses and the white cane with the big round knob on the end. But maybe they would find something out there. But anyways, that's another rant.
WestJet. Let's show a couple of the pictures, then we can get to community notes and happy news.
Nice.
All right. So there's been a few videos that showed up of WestJet's new legroom.
Your knee is digging in.
I couldn't be any more further back.
Excuse me.
Ridiculous.
So this is it, and then we also have the instance where WestJet passenger says he was fat shamed by staff on flight to Mexico. So he had 2 cans of pop, and the stewardess made fun of him and rubbed his belly and said, "This is what happens."
Is she good looking? She can rub my belly. I'm gonna have 2 cans of beer though.
Yeah. I mean, why? If you're on a flight from Mexico and you're not having a beer, what the hell is wrong with you?
Right?
Okay. This is your time in the comments. If you got community notes, send them to us. But me and Jim are talking. And so we've been talking in the background of the show about highlighting some people doing good by their community. And so I don't know what to call the segment twos, but the first guy to bring on to talk about somebody doing good in their community, I'm going to throw it to Jim. And I'm assuming Jim's thought an awful lot about this. So Jim, fire away.
Okay, well, I'm just going to back up a little bit about this because it's all going to lead into the same thing. So I got some great news about the Victoria Cross initiative that a group of us have been pushing on. I just want to give you some updates of what's going on there. So on March 4th, they were going to read this private members bill in the House. Because of all the people bombarding their MPs with letters and phone calls, they pushed that. They unanimously agreed upon it, and they're going to a bill, and they're going to start developing this into a bill. So that's thanks to the people who push. So having said that, the SAS Party in Saskatchewan, big part of that. So thanks to Scott Moe, Blaine McLeod, Senator Marty Klein's been a big push as well. The city of Regina, amazing stuff that they've been doing. They're the first city in the country to actually recognize this movement for the Victoria Cross. They've sent letters to Ottawa, and they're actually challenging other major cities in the country to do the same thing.
Sorry,
So-
and what are they doing exactly, Jim?
So-
I can't remember.
For the Victoria Cross.
Okay, but just like give me a 30-second rundown of what they're doing for the Victoria Cross.
True. Okay, so the Victoria Cross hasn't been issued to a Canadian since World War II. In 1993, the British government said, okay, now every Commonwealth country in the world has to develop their own Victoria Cross for the highest service award that you can get in the military. So since 93, it's been up to Canada to issue out Victoria Crosses to the soldiers that have been going overseas. and none have been handed out. And there's been amazing events that soldiers have done from Korea to the Balkans to Afghanistan, and it's a crying shame that for the soldiers that have laid down their lives and the ones that have survived have not been recognized for what they've done for this nation, and it's a crying shame. It's the smallest token that you could show somebody for what they've laid on the line, and it's within Canada's grasp to do this, and we're trying to get these files reopened and looked at with an honest light, and put politics aside and start issuing out these medals, which some of us know these guys that are walking around, and they're deserving of it. So yeah, so that's what the Victoria Cross Initiative is all about. So getting back to the city of Regina, Chad Basinski, he's the mayor, and we sat down in front of him. Willie told the story about Jess and how he got killed, or he didn't. He almost got killed. He survived the battle. He died a couple of years ago. Anyways, it's a very emotional story. You can read all about this stuff on the website for the VC, and he was like, I'm 100% behind this. What can I do? And so he more or less copied what the province is doing and pushing hard. And it's just amazing what the viewers have done. And like we've talked about this on your show, they've been reaching out to their MPs. So that's why things are moving ahead. And it's because of the movement of the people, which I'm very proud of. There's also a steering committee here in Saskatchewan, like Cliff Walker, Ed Stanowski, like from sun up till sundown, he is on meetings about this across the country, and like things are really moving forward, and just tirelessly he works at it. Sandra, of course, Willie and myself, we've been banging away at this. We're circling back to the province and to the city, and seeing where things are going, and if there's anything else we could do or give them information on. So yeah, it's just been awesome to be part of it, and just great people that are working behind the scenes. It's amazing to see. So which leads me to this. So we've been talking, like I said, Sean, for a while, and there's some amazing people in our communities that do amazing shit, right? So I kind of stumbled upon this. I know this dude. He's super cool. He's got a face for radio, not TV. And his name is Tooz. So I phoned Tooz up the other day. I'm like, hey man, like I heard you did something pretty amazing. What's it all about? And he's like, well, let's have a beer. So we cracked open a beer, and he was telling me his story, and truly he is like how humble you are is like, and people in our communities are like this, is when you get out of a vehicle and you go to a burning vehicle and you rescue somebody out of it, and then you don't mention it to the police or the fire department that you actually saved that person's life, speaks volumes about who you are as a person. And I really appreciate that, Steve. So that was the initial thing that Sean and I were talking about. And I hope wherever this goes to, hopefully it's a weekly or monthly thing where people are nominated and they're talked about on the show. Because when our community starts talking about the great things we do for each other, it's just going to manifest into better things all around, right? So anyways, hats off to you twos. But
you bastard.
Since that has happened, another amazing thing has happened.
Wait, before you get to the next amazing thing, just so audiences understands, this all stems from, I think me and Jamie have been talking about this for a while. In Tooz's house, he has this framed article of him receiving, what award is it, Tooz, they gave you?
Jesus. Really?
Yeah,
you
100%. We're talking about a community call, trying to highlight some people from different communities. Now it's starting with you because me and Jim have been talking about it for a while now.
Medal of Bravery. What the fuck do you guys mean you've been talking about this for a while?
We've been talking about it for a while because like Jim said, like we focus on the stupidity of our country, yet all the time there's people doing good by their community. And so one of the things we're talking about, we have a community notice of trying to get people involved in different events going around. But if they got somebody in their community that's going above and beyond, why not highlight it here? And then me and Jim started talking about that because we both know of a guy who's gone above and beyond. It's sitting on his wall. Nobody knows about it, including myself. And when I was sitting there and I was reading, I'm like, what the heck is this? I didn't know this. And I think it's if we're going to start something on the community, it might as well highlight one of the guys
You're
in
just
the
gonna
community.
embarrass the shit out of me.
Yes, 100%.
All right. Okay. Well, what?
No, I don't know. It was an act, a bravery medal is what Two's got for stopping when a vehicle was on fire and pulling the victim out, or pulling the person out. I shouldn't say the victim.
Yeah. So she turned the wrong way and hit me head on, and her car caught on fire, and I pulled her out. That was it.
Come on, there's a little bit more to it than that. Like when you put yourself into a situation where your life is in jeopardy, and you didn't just pull her out, like you couldn't get her out of her door because it was damaged. Then you had to go to the other door and it was locked, and then you got to like get the door open, like, and the car's on fire and shit blows up, and you got her out of that. So
Well, it didn't blow
be
up.
proud.
It just burned down.
No, but it could have. You don't know it's not going to blow up. There's no like label on there going car will not explode when on fire. Like you just don't know those things, but you did it out of regard of human life and because you wanted to help that person. You didn't care about yourself in that situation. You cared about that person, which is huge. And it's important to recognize that shit.
Thanks. So yeah.
Two's
that was
speechless, Jim. Hey, he doesn't even know what to say for a guy who can't stop talking for an hour and 40 minutes. Can't even spit it out. Yeah. Our hats off to you, Two's. You're making your community better. That's all we're saying. And if there's any listener out there that wants to, I don't know, it's new. Me and Jim have been talking about it for a while. If you want to suggest or you have a story, I don't know, maybe shoot me a text and we can have a conversation about it because we just want to highlight some positive things going on in our communities. And we thought who better to highlight than Two's himself. And you've done something, that was pretty cool. I think as Jamie points it out, you can, like it's pretty cool. Not everybody stops, does what you did, and has the fortitude to pull somebody out of a vehicle. That's all we're saying.
Yeah. And then the city gave me a medal,
which they had to phone you, and because you did not mention that in your witness statement, and they're like, "Well, why didn't you tell us that?" So that just goes to show you how humble you are. That's a good thing.
So, which people in this show will be like, "Two's humble? What? That doesn't happen."
So yeah, anyway, they sit down with us. There's this big investigation that they do apparently every time a car burns down. And so, they're like, okay, well, what happened? And I walked them through like the accident. And then I get a phone call like an hour later from the guy. And he was like, did you pull the woman out of the car? And I was like, yeah, why? And he's like, well, you didn't think that was worth mentioning? And I was like, well, nobody asked. I figured you guys knew. And so, yeah. That was it. And then like a year later, I got a phone call from the fire department. They asked me if I could go to this event. And I thought it was a fundraiser and they were going to ask me to write a check at the end of it or something like that. And then, I get there and we sign in and they're like, okay, well, you've got to put this pin on your lapel. And I said, okay, well, what's this for? And they said, well, that way, when we hang the medal on you at the ceremony, we don't have to worry about pinning it. We can just hang it on this pin that's already there. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, the medal that you're getting today. And I didn't even know that I was supposed to be getting a medal. I thought I was just going to a fundraiser. So yeah.
I think, if I may say, that's community, a community, the first ever community call out. I don't know if that's the right way to call it, but highlighting community. And I think that's the happy news of the week, folks. I think that's pretty cool. And
that is
okay. I got one more.
You can do whatever you want to. You can argue. Me and Jim are overriding you. I'm going to mute you and boot you from the call.
I would be good with that right now. I just want to disappear.
Hey, guess what? I even got
Jim's got a million better stories than that. Million.
We don't care. That's super cool, Jim. I'm glad we finally pulled that off.
I got another story though, and this is important. I got to get it out. So, since we've talked about this, there's been a fire in Regina, and a local guy that from Lumsden that I know through coaching and hockey and such. We're standing in the rink and we're talking about this fire. I know he's a fireman in Regina, and I'm like, hey, good on your fire department for saving so and so, and just thought I would just recognize the Regina Fire Department. He goes, yeah, that was me. Like, I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, it was me. I was there first. I'm a captain of number 4 hall. His name is Aaron McClellan. And he was checking around the fire, so he knew how to fight this fire when his crew showed up with the pump truck. And he heard somebody moaning inside of this building. So remember, he doesn't have any safety equipment, doesn't have his air tank, his helmet, or his fire stuff on. He's just got whatever his regular work clothes are. And he crawls into this burning building, grabs a 300-pound man and dragged him out of there. That's been inside this building ever since he got there, and saved the guy's life. And hats off to Aaron. And I don't know what the city or the province is going to be doing. They all know about it, but it's those kind of things that everyday people that are walking amongst us. There's some special people that done some super special stuff, and he's one of them. And so my hats off to Aaron. And he's got a wife and 3 kids, and he once again put himself in front of his own family and did the right thing. So proud of him for that.
Good for him. And one more time, what was his name?
Aaron McClellan.
If you
Shout
know
out
him.
to Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah, damn right.
Yeah.
So I'm not done there yet, though. You're not getting. Hey,
I feel like I'm back in the studio with
You
Jim.
know how this goes. You know how this goes. Good news is it's all good stuff. So, Twos, did you get yourself a beer yet? Because now we got to talk about George Parrott. So George Parrott was my first sex commander in 2 Commando. Just a stud of a man. Loved his wife. Loved his kids. He was first in, last out of everything. Led from the front. Just a champ. And everything he did. And we're celebrating his life in Edmonton this week on Sunday, and there's going to be guys coming in from coast to coast to coast to be there to honor him. And so here's to George. Cheers. And other than that, I want to talk about the curling bond spiel.
Well, wait. Okay, let's do community.
What?
Let's do community notes. Okay, and we'll get to the curling.
Happy
bun.
news.
Well, then
Happy
talk about-
news.
We had happy news. Today's
Wait a
happy
was
news is
bullshit.
Tuesday.
That was bullshit.
Hey,
This
that
is
is a
this
bullshit.
is the happy news. This is
Hey.
way better. Tell me this isn't way
Don't-
better.
Don't
Liz Hurley at 60 wears a bikini for New Year's Eve. Look at this.
Jesus.
I know. So
I got a restraining order against her, but I might have to retract that.
Community notes. Okay, you got an upcoming event, special guest Bruce Party, the Alberta Imperative. It's Didsbury, January 14th, 7 p.m. If you want to have any questions, please email mvfdidsbury@gmail.com. So Bruce Party here in Alberta right now. You have a couple other ones too. I texted him.
I got one that's not listed yet, but Big Jack Classic at Buffalo Lake. So over by Stettler. $6,000 in cash and prizes, February 14th and 15th. BigJackClassic.ca. I'm gonna try and go. I don't know if I can go or not, but I would like to go.
Know where you should go? You should come to Regina Beach on March 7th. That's our community ice fishing derby. You can stay at my house, and it's amazing. It starts at 11, ends at 2. All the money stays in our community for our kids, for sports and great things like that. So March 7th, the Lions fishing derby. And if you can't make it and you just want to give a donation, you can do that by getting a hold of the Regina Beach Lions Club. So yeah, you're more than welcome to come to that too, Twos.
You got SPP, Saskatchewan Prosperity Project, along with Prairie Rising Forum. I know they're going to a bunch of different places, but the one I've had sent to me is Maidstone on Sunday, January 18th, 2 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Central, and everyone is welcome there. So that is January 18th, once again in Maidstone. You have, as we sit here, 6 tickets remaining to the Mash Bill, okay?
Okay.
If you
6 tickets left.
6 tickets left. If you want your shot at this bad boy,
you might as well put my name on that trophy right now. That thing's coming home with me.
Well, it's nice to know that something finally will.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I can't get that thing to focus. There you go. Anyways, Mashville next weekend. Jamie's going to be there. Chuck's going to be there. Willie's going to be there. Marty up north. Eva Chipiak, Lise Merle, Sheila Gunn Reed, Twos, myself. There's going to be
I tried
some
convincing Vesper to make the trip.
Hey, don't forget about the 26th of January. I'm going to that too. That's going to be amazing. In Calgary.
In Calgary.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Prairie Rising in Yorkton, January 10th. And if you're not going to the Mash Spiel, Prairie Rising's in Regina on January 17th.
Okay. And then Cornerstone
17.
Forum Cornerstone Forum March 28th in Calgary. And we have I just got confirmation Martin Armstrong's flights have been, everything's been taken. Well, I mean, they're booked, so they're in. So we got Premier Daniel Smith, Martin Armstrong, Larry C. Johnson, Tom Luongo, Alex Craner, Matt Eric, Chad Prather, Sam Cooper, Vince Lanchi. The list goes on. Tuesday is going to be somewhere there running around.
Depending on whether the 4-5-star hotel works out or not.
That's right.
Yes.
So there's going to be a March 28th. If you haven't bought tickets for that, you should stop what you're doing and go grab a ticket for that. Anything else, gentlemen?
I ran into a few friendly faces in Water Valley, including people who are going to be there and asking about the event the night before. So there's going to be a mixer with I don't know if you're asking everybody to go or if it's just going to be a bunch of the people speaking. And then if you get a ticket to the
certainly for the Friday night social, if you buy a ticket to the Cornerstone Forum, Friday night we're having a social for 3 hours. And right now there's 200 plus people signed up to go to it. And essentially, hopefully, majority of the speakers are going to be there. I can assume that Premier Daniel Smith won't be there, but who knows? We'll hope she makes a guest appearance. But there should be majority of the guest speakers, I would think, would be in attendance. And it's just a pretty relaxed evening of getting the community together. So,
well,
yeah,
hey,
did you hear that, Jim? Relaxed evening.
Hey. And guess what the great news is about that? So we do a Saskatchewan Bush Party, and all the speakers come to the Bush Party. I don't know why they don't go to your party, but they come to the Bush Party. And we're also going to do that at the Curling Bonspiel. So if you're one of those people out there that don't have a ticket yet, you better get it, because like I'm bringing up
6 left.
I'm bringing up bottles of Bow, and there's going to be like all kinds of like shenanigans going on. It's going to be amazing. The hotel has a water slide, so we're going to make sure there's some water sliding and tomfoolery going on in the pool. Probably get kicked out with all the kids that are playing hockey. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But no, it's going to be amazing. And guess what else Sean is doing? He's getting a 12-passenger van.
You talking about?
So that when you're drinking at the rink, he's going to offer us all a safe ride back to the hotel.
I am going to offer you a safe ride back to the hotel.
The reason why Sean got invited to the Mash Spiel.
You're getting a fucking van so that we can all fit in there. We got masseuses, we got all our gear. Like we got our coach for like strategizing when we're doing on the ice.
So the skip on Jim's team is actually going to be a 21-year-old Asian masseuse who speaks no English.
Why is it gotta be Asian?
For people wondering what hotel it is, the Best Western Plus Edmonton Airport. Yep. That's where we're staying. Best Western Plus Edmonton Airport.
Even if you don't want to go curling, just come for the entertainment. It's gonna
just come for the masseuse. Stay for the curling. Come for the masseuse.
I should answer this. There's been people reaching out asking if they need a broom or sliders. You don't. You just need clean shoes. So bring a set of indoor shoes. Jim, bring a set of indoor shoes, would you?
I'm wearing fucking cowboy boots. Fucking cowboy boots.
It's great because they've got a built-in slider.
Sure. We got corn brooms. We got corn brooms. Fucking old Scottish hats. We're set.
And for those of you wondering why Jim and I invited Sean to the Mash Spiel, it's because that way we would have a designated driver.
Correct. That is right.
He's rented a nice van for all of us to fit in there. He's not driving around his little fucking Suzuki 2-door car jamming us in the hatch. We're not 16 anymore.
I got you home. I got you home, didn't I?
You did.
Didn't I, Jim?
You did amazing. But you got lots of people that are going to rely on you this time. So you need a large van.
Man.
Just it's very smart of you to do this.
Yes,
Yeah.
Leaf, we will be trying the rink burger for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm gonna eat like
Oh.
5 of them.
Fuck.
Gentlemen, thanks for hopping on. Everyone for tuning in. Mashup 190, happy to be
Hey,
back.
keep your community strong and be proud of where you're from. And I love all you guys and can't wait to see you at the Cornerstone.
You're a
And
son
the
of a
mash
bitch,
deal.
Jim.
Yes.
Airborne.
Up the Johns.
Up the Johns.
Folks, we will be back next Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and hope you'll be here with us. That'll do it for this week. Folks, till next week. Twos, as always. Jim, thanks for hopping on and doing this.
Airborne.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Sean.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the mashup.